Okay, guys, let me see your characters. Here you go. Your constitution is 6. Well, yeah, I didn't want some big burly brute, so I dumped strength and con. You have 10 HP at level 7. And your wisdom is 20. Yes, exactly. I wanted to be a wise wizard like Gandalf. Yeah, wisdom doesn't help wizards. They use intelligence instead. What's the difference? That is a good question. So have you heard of a tomato? Yeah, I have my character, by the way, and don't worry, they're better optimized. Okay, yeah, let me see your character. Hey everyone, welcome to The Grit and Glory, where we learn how to improve the gaming experience. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe. But now, onto the video. So, we all know D&D has got 6 base stats: dexterity, strength, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. But let's be completely honest, it really has 5. Constitution is not really the same as the other stats. It's essential to live, but you can never really use it for anything. So you can never take as a dump stat, but if you're putting points into it, you don't really see them that much. See? And then there is strength. Yeah, probably the most commonly dumped stat in the entire game. I mean, basically every single character build in the entire game, except for if you're going with Barbarian, is always better off building Dex. I mean, let's just compare what the two control. Dexterity, you have your AC, melee weapon attacks, some of them, almost all ranged weapon attacks. You have initiative and stealth. It's the most common save in the entire game. It's pretty good. And on the other hand, strength, you get, sure, some melee weapon attacks as well. You get armor, some armor requires strength, and grappling.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
But never fear, strength is not alone in this redundancy. It has one massive partner, and that is intelligence. Probably, maybe tied, maybe second for most dumped stat in the game, because the only builds that actually need it are wizards. But then again, wizard is the strongest class in the game, so that does kind of balance out. But does that mean that building intelligence is useful for anyone else? No, it doesn't. You get basically nothing out of it except for the lore skills. And we all know that if the GM wants you to know the lore, you'll know the lore. Meanwhile, at the high ranks, we have wisdom and charisma. 2 spellcasting stats, just the same as intelligence, but they also cover other major areas of the game. Wisdom has insight and perception, 2 of the best skills in the entire game. And charisma has persuasion and deception, 2 skills that single-handedly take control over one of the 3 major pillars of the game, roleplay. And on top of that, when we look at saves for like intelligence and strength, not only are they much rarer than the saves for dex, wisdom, and charisma, but they're not usually as punishing when they fail. Oh no, I got pushed 5 feet back or knocked prone. Whatever will I do? How do we actually fix this problem? Well, Grit and Glory has not included 6 overlapping, complicated, chaotic stats. Instead, we have got 3 distinct and unique ones: mind, body, and soul. Look, D&D is already babied enough. You don't need to baby it further. Yeah, I totally understand that. And to be completely honest, we haven't done this to baby people. We've done this not because we don't think you can handle the complexity of 6 stats, but it's allowed us to make skills far more interesting and in-depth, meaning that you actually have more customization than you would in D&D. So the importance of skills is much greater in this system, because instead of attacking or rolling saves or anything else with your base stats, you use the skill instead. And because of our proficiency system being skill specific and tiered, this means that you can actually customize customize your build a lot more. You can go into that heavy 1 or 2 skills and really optimize them, or you can broaden it, blanket it out, be, jack of all trades, master of none. That is the kind of thing that we wanted to provide in this system, variety. With all this focus on skills, what do the stats even do? Yeah, that is a good question. And I think that it's important to note, obviously the skills are tied to their stats, so the stats affect them, but they also have their own unique bonuses. Mind determines how many skill points you get at each level. Body does the same for HP, plus it tracks the number of mortal wounds that you can take before dying. Soul is what tracks how many attunement slots you have, plus it gives you grit and glory points. Wait, what are grit and glory points? So you have 2 pools of points. One is grit, the other is glory. The total number you can have across these 2 pools is equal to your soul stat. And you can use these points in different ways. If you succeed on a roll, you can spend a point of glory to make it a glorious success, doing things that might not even normally be possible. Now, the GM does obviously have control over this. They can say how much glory a specific action might take, and if it's even going to be allowed in the first place. We obviously don't want people to abuse this system. Grit, on the other hand, is used for when you fail a roll. And depending on how much you failed by and the seriousness of that roll will lead your decision making as a GM on how much grit it costs for that player to succeed instead. Now, just because they succeeded on the roll does not mean that everything is hunky-dory. Instead, grit always comes at a cost, something deep and dark and devastating. All these things being tied to the stats means that they're actually automatically balanced by the character's progression, and you can't be great at all of them. Sure, there isn't an artificial cap on how high your stats can go, and I love that. That means that technically the game could expand on endlessly, but it does also mean that the way you gain your stats is slow and balanced under the GM and your playstyle. And whilst they are all really important, you don't need to be great at all of them. It is a team game after all. You can play that wizard with 10 HP and your friend might play that barbarian with the rock for brains. You complete each other. One's strength is the other weakness and the other's weakness is your strength. And that's what encourages teamwork in this system. And it's also what makes tanking actually possible, unlike in DnD. So if you want to check out a video on that, then you can see it up there. But in the meantime, if you're tired of making the exact same character, dumping the same stats all of the time, if you want to try out a bit of variety, maybe it's time to check out Grit and Glory. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, check out the website in the description below where you'll find details about the Kickstarter that's going live in September, so make sure to back it. And in the meantime, you can check out my Patreon for more exclusive content, or for YouTube content, you can look here.